first I obviously have to start sketching in my sketchbook. I was messing around with a couple of ideas, and in the end, I was just unsure and unmotivated. I took my vague shapes and continued on to the painting. Guess who took a cinematography class? I cut out my watercolor paper and I start sketching. I use a hard leaded pencil so I can get really soft lines without having to really worry, because I have a heavy hand, and the heavier lines when erased can leave dents and tear the paper, and you end up with pigment where you don't want pigment. It's just a pain. I love that sound. It's just so satisfying. Although I did not show the part where I destick the tape so it doesn't ruin the paper. And I block in more shapes. Mix up my paint and we can begin. By this point, I had already painted for like 12 hours, so I understood how I wanted to do this and what the layering process would be for minimal mistakes. This is probably one of the fastest paintings of the set, because I wasn't messing around anymore with how to get textures or colors and layers. The dirt obviously is something I add a lot of splotches and spots to, where the sky I tried to keep nice and even as possible for gouache, which is a little difficult, I will admit. One of my favorite techniques of this piece is I use a paintbrush and just splatter some gouache onto the page. It gives the dirt all the little speckles and spots, and how it dries, it kind of looks like how you would put salt in watercolor. I use a small brush to really chisel out the cat. Oh, and then I go in and do the plants, which was really nervous because like carrot leaves in real life are very thin and very like dexterous, for lack of a better word, and I didn't think that painting them all would be beneficial to the painting, so I ended up doing some vague shapes, thinking that the eye and perspective, you would lose all those little details from far away. I paint the cat. Oh, I really wanted to paint the barn red, but it didn't fit the color scheme, so I ended up painting it gray. Yeah. I do an outline on everything, and I use like a broken line, which is a style Casey Golden uses. I've never used it before. It looks really nice, and it gives it that like childish feel. I got them laminated. And here's a digital set of them. The colors are off digitally because of lighting and such with the lamination, but this is what we can have if I can't bring in a physical copy, unfortunately. I think it turned out okay.